Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm gonna be telling you guys how I learn K-pop dances fairly quickly, I would say. For me, my average learning speed now for like a song is probably 15 to 20 minutes for like a chorus. And so I'm gonna be telling you guys my process and also give you guys some tips to learn and improve. I will also be like demonstrating, so I will like be voicing over and then like you'll see what it's like when I learn. So without further ado, let's get started. First, for my process, there's 7 steps. So the first thing that I do is stretch. I used to not stretch and I would wake up the next day really sore. It's just not good. So stretch, because then your body won't be as stiff and it helps with injury prevention. And then after I stretch, I watch the dance practice video at normal speed first, and I also make sure that it's mirrored. You can do this 2 different ways. You can just search, like for this specific example, I would search rise impossible dance mirrored, and then it'll pull up like a mirror dance practice video. Obviously, if you want to learn it like right when it comes out or something like that, the dance practice might not be available yet, so you can also use live stage, like their full cam, fan cams, and TikToks, and just mirror those yourself. That's what I do sometimes. Like, you can do this on your phone. You can screen record the dance practice video and then like put it through like CapCut and then mirror it. Or you can also just open the video on YouTube and you can download this extension called MirrorTube, and essentially it will mirror your videos for you if it's on YouTube. So that's amazing. So after I watch the video at normal speed, then I slow the video down, and right away I just try to mirror the moves and like try to do it. Even it's like it looks super funny, but like that's what helps with retention. Something that I used to do is I used to learn the arms first and then the legs first. Now I try to do them both at the same time because it makes more sense. But if it's easier for you, do arms and then legs. After I slow the video down, I slow it to about 50%, so half the speed. After I slow the video down, the step 4 is just repeating it over and over again until I'm comfortable with it. Once I'm good with that speed, then I move on to the next speed. Typically for me, I'll go half speed, 75% speed, and then full speed. This is where MirrorTube can come back again, because the 50, 75, 100, that's like the YouTube setting. But if you're on MirrorTube, you can do like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, like all the way. If a song is really, really hard, then I typically use MirrorTube, so then I can like adjust the speed as much as I want. Typically, I just go 50, 75, 100. Step 5, next, once I reach full speed, I just drill it over and over again. It can be really annoying to continuously like replay that section and like go back to your phone and like restart it. So something that you can do if you have MirrorTube is you can set it so that only a certain section of the video will play and it'll restart automatically. Play the video, and then once it gets to the part that you want to start, you press it, and then once it gets to the part that you want it to end at, then you press it again and you press enable, and then it'll automatically replay that clip over and over again. Step 6 after this is optional, but for me, if the dance is like really hard and I keep messing up, then I just practice without the music slowly to see if I can like fully remember the choreo. That for me helps with retention, and also it helps with recall because then I'm not looking at the video. That can kind of hold you back, I guess, when you're memorizing, is like you keep wanting to look at the video. So making sure to take the time to actually physically do it yourself and not look at it is also very important. And then the last step is film. So I typically record myself and then I see what I need to fix, and then I'll like do it a couple times until I'm like happy with it. So typically that's my process for when I learn a K-pop dance. Hi everyone, before we continue with this video, I just need to give a quick little shout out. So something that I wanted to add is that when I dance, sometimes I don't always have access to Wi-Fi, whether it be the network isn't offered to me at that point or there's just no service. So what I do when I don't have any Wi-Fi is I listen to music on my Spotify Premium. A couple weeks ago, a company called goingbus reached out to me and they asked if I'd like to try some of their products and give a review on them. So basically what goingbus does is they offer streaming services at discounted rates, and as a student who's low-key living on a budget, that's extremely helpful because it's a lot more budget friendly and accessible. I got the opportunity to try out their Spotify Premium product as well as their Netflix, but I will mostly be focusing on Spotify for this one. I didn't run into any issues while using it. It was exactly as you would expect Spotify to be, and it was so much cheaper, which is amazing. To access these goingbus products, all you have to do is go to their website and create an account, and they will have their list of products available on their website. Pay for it, and then they'll send you an account username/email as well as a password, and then boom, you're in. Goingbus has also offered me a promotional code that I can give you guys to use on your first order. So the code is 0301, and you can use that to get 10% off your first order at Goingbus. My affiliate link is also linked down in the description down below. To anyone looking for discounted streaming services, I highly recommend Goingbus, and big shout out to them for letting me use their products as a part of this video. And now let's continue with the tips to learning K-pop dances. Now I'm gonna give you guys some tips for learning, like while you're learning the choreo. Here's some things to keep in mind. First tip, stretch. I know I said this already, but stretching is really important because your body is really stiff before you dance if you haven't been moving. So stretching is important so that your body can be a little more mobile. And like I said, it's important for injury prevention. Do yourself a favor and stretch. Tip number 2. Typically when you learn a dance or when someone teaches you a dance, they're gonna focus on counts, like on 1 or like 1, 2, you know, whatever. But for most K-pop songs, they typically go by lyrics and not counts. If the concept of like counts is unfamiliar to you, it's okay to just go by like feeling, or like if this move matches with this lyric, like that for me is like the easiest way to do it, especially because that's so common in K-pop. Half the time you don't even need to think about like the actual beat, you just need to think about the words. Obviously if counts works for you, then just do that, but if you're more comfortable with just doing lyrics or just by like feeling, then you know, do what works for you. Then tip number 3, if you can, use a mirror. And this is like obviously this is hard, and like at home I don't have like a proper mirror, but having a mirror is very helpful to like see what you're doing. And actually I was kind of shocked that like when I practice with a mirror, it actually does make a big difference because you can like see how you're, you know, moving. If you don't have a mirror, I think the best thing that you can do is probably just record yourself over and over and over again. Finally, here are some tips to improve. First thing that I would say is this is the most important tip of them all, okay? Tip number 1, let it sit. Let the choreo, let the dance just sit. Don't just like practice it for like hours on end. Learn it and take a break and then come back to it. Typically what I do is once I learn a choreo, I'll like obviously I'll learn it and then I'll run it a few times and then I'll like let it sit. Like it could be anything from like 10 minutes to like a couple days normally. So I'll learn the dance, and then once I feel like okay with it, then I'll like take a break. So if I'm spending a longer time in the studio or something like that, I'll do something else and I'll come back to it. Or if it's between multiple sessions, I'll just learn it and then like a few days later I'll come back and I'll practice it again. If you're trying to remember these dances in the long term, it's also important that you actually make that effort to like do this over a longer period of time to help with your recall and retention. And also I find that if I let it sit for a few days and then I come back and I also watch the original dance again, there will almost always be details that I didn't notice before. That's kind of just how it is, but because I'm intentionally making this a part of my process, then I don't really have to worry about missing things because I know I'm gonna come back to it. I don't know if that made any sense, but like my second tip is practice. Dance, unless you're like a prodigy or something, it's something that needs to be developed. I've been dancing technically for about 7 years, but I didn't start taking it seriously until maybe 3 years ago. Even then it wasn't that serious. I only actually really got serious about dance maybe this past year. I still think I have a long way to go. That's why practicing is so important. It can feel kind of discouraging maybe at first, but just practice, and it'll be worth it. You will see improvement. Trust me. And my third tip for improvement, record yourself. I've been saying this a couple times throughout the video already, but recording yourself is really, really important. One, if you're trying to like keep like a dance journal or something, you can see the progression like throughout however long you dance for. It's also helpful, like I said, to like monitor yourself and see like what you should fix. I think it's just good to like keep that record for yourself so you can look back on it eventually. Like I know for me, I wish I recorded more when I first started. I didn't really do it that much, which I really regret, honestly. But even from the past few years, seeing how much I've grown is kind of crazy, and I think it's a really good memory to keep for yourself. So yes, I definitely recommend recording yourself when you dance. It can feel kind of like ooh, but it's worth it. trust me. Tip number 4, this is kind of like not everyone might be able to do this, but if you are able to, try and take dance classes or dance with other people. So dance classes, I'm not talking just K-pop dance classes. I'm talking, it could be literally anything. Hip hop and like other choreo, like it doesn't have to be K-pop. If you just take dance classes, like that will also help with your dance skills in K-pop, because these styles are all kind of interlinked with K-pop. So even if it's not K-pop itself, if you learn other things that are kind of similar to it, it will help you with your K-pop dancing. On top of that idea of taking dance classes, it is also, I think, important to dance with other people. You know, you could obviously do very well by yourself, but for me personally, I think having a community of people that all of you have this passion together and you all want to help each other improve, I think that's very motivating and encouraging. Maybe at first it seems like a little intimidating, but I think it's honestly really good, and it's also really fun. And obviously in K-pop, there's K-pop group dances. You can like all learn a choreo together. It's just like a fun thing. I would definitely recommend that. And then my last tip to improve. Tip number 5, analyze the dance practice videos. This is gonna take a lot of time and experience, but as you continue to watch these videos, you're gonna notice things that you didn't notice before. And again, all of this comes with time. I guess another tip to improve should just be like, be patient. Anyways, analyzing the dance practice videos is actually quite important, because there's always small details like which way is their head facing, or which way are their shoulders turned, or something like that. Typically, when you are learning the choreo first, for me, I try not to focus too much on tiny details, because I just want to get the basics down. After I watch the videos again, after learning the choreo, I'll be like, oh, I didn't notice that before. And then I will practice the choreo again and add the things that I learned from watching the videos. This will take a lot of time. I don't think this is like super easy, and it might just seem like they're not doing anything different, but try and notice like the little things, like is their head tilting this way, or are they turning their head this way, or just like other small things like that. So yeah. I'm by no means perfect. I might not be the most qualified person to say any of these things, but I know that all of these things that I've just said have been helpful to me, and I hope that they are helpful to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below and I'll try to answer them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!